All right. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name's Anna Langley, and co-presenting with me today is my colleague Laura Peasley. We're both career practitioners and teachers with Career Tools. And we're excited to talk to you today about the Career Copilot, which schools were given access to throughout March and April, with the final rollout going live last week. So the purpose of today's brief webinar is to introduce you to this feature in time for National Careers Week next week. So Laura, over to you for an acknowledgement of country.
Thank you, Anna. Yes, hello, Australia. We would like to acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we live, work and educate. We pay our deepest respects to elders past, present and emerging. We do recognise the diverse skills and talents of First Nations peoples and aspire to create an inclusive career development platform that celebrates cultural wisdom, nurtures aspirations and supports the journey toward fulfilling careers.
Thank you. So Laura will monitor the chat as I present, and if there are any great questions along the way, Laura, please let me know and I will explain them as we go. Okay, so Career Copilot is underpinned by the Year 13 mission to upgrade the school to work transition by providing every student with an actionable career plan. We know that students with career plans experience less anxiety about their futures because they've got a clearer sense of purpose and the confidence to make informed career and life decisions. So the aim of Career Copilot is to transform career exploration and planning into a user-friendly, efficient and personalised experience to guide students through their journey and to help collect insightful data for schools. The tool does this in a number of steps. So I'll give you an overview of those steps to begin with, and then we'll jump inside into a demonstration of how it works. So Career Copilot begins with self-discovery, where students take an engaging just over 6 minute quiz that forecasts their strengths and skills. They're then presented with a wide range of occupations to explore based on different responses throughout the quiz, and they can favourite those jobs as they appeal to them. When they activate a plan for their favourite job, they get a step-by-step and customisable action plan to help them reach their goals. That plan then also links into their wallet, which is a professional profile that they can develop throughout their school journey and beyond. And it has an inbuilt credential feature to help visually represent their achievements and to further encourage their self-reflection by explaining how they achieved that particular credential and how that has built their skills. So we will go now into a demonstration. Just bear with me while I switch screens. Okay. Can we see the correct screen, Laura?
Yes, we're
yes.
in the
All right, excellent, good.
Yeah.
All right, so from in your teacher dashboard in Career Tools, the best way to experience Copilot is either by logging in as your demonstration student if you're an essential subscriber, or if you have a premium subscription, you can impersonate your demonstration student to take the quiz and the journey yourself. So I will click on the student tile and then search for my demonstration student in this account, that is Ashley, and impersonate them from the Actions tab there. So When a student logs in, Career Copilot is front and centre, and all they need to do is start planning. If they've already taken Copilot, there will be a little option below to retake the quiz or to view their action plan instead. So let me just click on Start Planning there, and we'll go through each section a little more closely. So if you have students with accessibility needs, they can turn the animations off if that's an issue for them. But otherwise, they just click to start planning. They're introduced to the 4 steps that I just went through, and they need to click Let's Begin. So question 1 measures students' confidence at the beginning of the process, and then again at the end once they've completed it, to see how their confidence and their plans about their future have developed. Students must make a selection by clicking on the slider. Even if they want to leave it in the middle, they still need to do that before they can proceed. And that's an inbuilt feature to ensure that, or to try to help ensure that students are reading the questions and taking the quiz seriously. So these sliders are on a 5-point scale. So the 2 at the end and then 1 either side of the middle. Let's click through those. At question 2, there are different branching options depending on the student's response. So if a student says yes, they do know what job they'd like to do, they need to click next, and then they can go in here and search for that job and go straight into their action plan. If they can't find what they're looking for, then they can choose an industry that interests them instead. There are over 800 occupations, so let's hope that they can find what they're looking for, but they can do an industry search instead. So if they want to go back, they can use the back button. If a student selects somewhat, then they're taken to a range of industry areas. And it's important to note that there's a show more button. So they're not limited to the ones here. They can view a broader selection. And they can choose up to 3 industries of interest in here. They'll come up as their 3. If they want to change one, they can easily deselect by clicking on it again, and it will give them the option to change. But many students won't know or won't have any idea where they want to begin, so they can say no, and this will take them through the whole quiz experience. So that's the one that I'll demonstrate for you. All right, students are prompted to choose 3 passions or interests and then move through. And then they're asked why they love that particular thing that they've chosen. So they're going, let's say they chose it for growth, and they'll see a little explanation of what that means below. So if they go, oh no, that's not quite why I love that, they can then choose a different option and then proceed. So I'm just going to go through those quickly. Okay, and then in this next set of questions, these help to determine a student's Myers-Briggs personality type. So I'm going to click through these at random just for the sake of getting through it more quickly than 6 minutes. Okay. Whoop. All right. When they're brought to the section to rank their skills, this is really most useful for their own self-reflection, and you'll be able to access this quiz data from students as of next week. So that will also help you in your discussions and conversations with students when talking to them about their self-image and how they can talk about their skills as well. They can choose the types of work that appeal to them most and their workplace values. The next set of questions, their intention data, you will also be able to access. So you'll have an overview of the number of students that you have who want to go to uni or TAFE, or who haven't yet decided on a particular pathway beyond school. You will also be able to capture any students who express interest in a school-based apprenticeship or traineeship, short courses, gap years, and those involved in groups outside of school, as well as ones who may be interested in doing work experience. So you'll be able to manipulate all of that in a CSV spreadsheet. So once students finish the quiz, they're presented with some feedback about how their results, how their results kind of influence their personality and their particular style. And then they're shown their 3 main strengths mapped with Myers-Briggs and their forecasted skills. So do encourage students to click on the little question mark tooltip next to each of their skills so that they can understand exactly what that means and how it might relate to their everyday tasks. If they're not already familiar with what those skills mean, they can find an explanation of them there. And that brings students to the end of the quiz. They're then presented with a range of jobs that they can explore. So on the exploration page, students are first of all recommended a selection of jobs based on their overall responses to the quiz. And they can see more there. And they have several pages that they can click through and look at different jobs that appeal to them. So based on a brief summary of the job, they can add those to their favourites and close out of that section. Now, if a student said that they were really into advertising and arts, the jobs there are suggested based on the reason that they gave for being interested in that field rather than just the field itself. So we'll see some more in here and add a couple of extra favourites. If a student can't find something that interests them based on the suggestions, that's okay. They can search for a particular job. So there's actually a search function right up the top in the right-hand corner, but they can also choose to search when they get down the bottom of the suggestions list. It will take them to the same place. And they can provide us with feedback about how it feels to have those options, and we use those responses to continue to improve the suggestions and product. So to the left, they have their shortlisted favourite occupations, and there's no limit to the number of jobs that they can favourite in here. And then if they, they look more closely into each of those. So let's have a look at, say, actor. That's what I wanted to be when I was younger. So in here, they're given a brief summary of what the job involves and what that person does in their day-to-day work. And so this information, all the information about the occupations comes from Jobs and Skills Australia. However, we have used AI to transform that labour market information into age-appropriate language that students can understand and engage with more appropriately. They have a little summary of why that's a good match for them, and this is based on the skills and strengths that were identified in the quiz. So, if they're a particularly outgoing person, why this might suit them. If they're a more introverted person, how that might match them, and so on. They're visually shown a summary of how their skills measure up to what may be required for the role. And they can see the different pathways that can lead them to that occupation. So in this case, informal, vet and university, and the industry insights information also comes from Jobs and Skills Australia. If they think, yep, cool, I'd love to see what's involved in activating that plan and becoming an actor, they click on next step, add action plan. And they can change this out at any time. Just because they add an action plan doesn't mean that they can't change their mind at some point in the future. So we'll go ahead and add that there. And this will generate their step-by-step actionable career plan. So the top section has a breakdown, a brief overview of getting started. And the first step is to explore their wallet and add to their wallet. And so they can do that by clicking here, and it will take them to their wallet where they can fill out information about themselves and add a bio and so on. But that doesn't have to be the first step. It's up to you in directing students as to how you'd like them to use it. But that will take them to begin to fill out their wallet if they like. There is also a focus in each section on making sure that students talk to their career practitioner or another adult in schools who may not have a career practitioner about their plan, and getting that input from an adult to help make sure that they're on track and that they're putting realistic and achievable steps into their plan. Students are also prompted to look more closely at the occupation that they've chosen to make sure that they want to proceed with that plan. Then in the pursue relevant education and qualifications sections, students can see recommended courses as well. So that will link out to TAFE or university courses, depending on which option the student has chosen earlier on in the quiz. And in the third section there, they can see once they've set out on their path towards that occupation, what further steps can they take to reach the top of the field. So in this second section, pursue relevant education and training, this is where their plan becomes customisable, and this is where you can work one-on-one with students or in class to get them to really hone in on the specific steps that you would like them to take. So they just click on add own action item, give it a title. So they might say attend open days, and then put in a description of how they're going to bring that into action. So visit one next, just an example, and add that in there. So once students begin to customise their plan, they are asked to reflect again, well, how do I feel now? So at the very beginning, they were asked about their confidence, and hopefully their confidence has grown a little bit there. All right. And so once a student attends their open day, they can tick that off and it will turn green. They have really read their job summary thoroughly, they can tick that off and it'll turn green. So it helps to give them that sense of progress and accomplishment as they begin to tick tasks off their list, and they can see track of that here. If at any time they would like to revisit their skills and strengths, they can do that on the left side of their page, and that will bring that up for them here too. And again, they can go in and see those things. So that is a very brief summary of the student side. Before I flick back to the teacher side, Laura, have any questions come through in the chat that I can address?
Okay, so we've had some really great feedback, so we're just noting that down as we go. And everyone is super keen to see the teacher side. So
okay, so I'll just get into the teacher side then.
I think we'll roll with that, and we'll come back to anything else at the end.
Sure, fantastic. Alrighty, let me, I will stop impersonating. And just click on the little C at the top of my dashboard to return to my teacher homepage. So From your homepage, to see your student progress with Career Copilot, just click on the reporting tile, the second one there. And you have an overview of your total number of students, how many active Career Copilot plans you have, the number of careers that students have shortlisted, and whether you've issued any credentials in the wallet section. So let me just refresh that. You then have a table with all of your students. The status shows whether they have activated an action plan or not yet started one. You can then see the occupation that they have activated it for. And then you can see that, this student here has got a number of careers shortlisted, but they've chosen to activate this one for now. So say a student comes in and sits down with you and you want to discuss their action plan with them. From here, you would click on the title of that action plan and it will show you what they have done so far. So this student has added some information to their wallet, and that's it at this stage. But this one isn't interactive. If you want to go in and interact with it and add custom items, you're best to impersonate the student. You can, however, export it at the moment. So if you click on the export button there, you will get a PDF download of that plan and the steps that have been ticked off for now with the student's name on it. Okay. So let me just go back to the overview, and you will see whether or not a student has begun to input into their wallet or not. So as of next week, our developers are furiously working behind the scenes at the moment to get several new features on the teacher side live for you. One of those will be to export this summary information into a CSV, but to also, rather than only being able to download one student's action plan at a time, you'll be able to bulk export those PDFs, say for a whole year level or a whole school. Something that's very exciting is you will have access to all your cohort quiz responses. So if you want to see the students interested in work experience, going to TAFE, going to uni, you can download all of that information into a spreadsheet to then use however you need to. And in addition to the course suggestions, there will also be a course search feature that students can interact with and look further. So the course suggestions gives 5 courses at the moment, but if students want to go further and deeper than that, they'll be able to access the course search feature alongside that. So I will just pop back into my initial presentation. Bear with me while I change screens. Okay.
And while you're doing that, Anna, I might just answer some of the questions that have come in now. Sure. Will there still be access to the current career action template in Career Tools? So the career action plan tool, as you know it, will still be in existence. It will be found in the student's toolbox. So their career toolbox, which is in the header of their student account. Okay, so each state has a different name for that. So whatever state you're in, that corresponding career plan tool will be accessible through that. This isn't an additional price. This is rolling out across all of our subscribing schools. And will there be a way to filter by status factored into the updates being spoken about? So yes, that ability to filter by completion status will be built in there for you. And yes, I think that's it for now.
Good questions. Yeah, all really good questions. So some of the ways that we have brainstormed that this might be of use to you is that it will help you identify student future intentions. It gives you a really quick tool to learn about students that you may be unfamiliar with or don't yet know very well. It's a really nice kickstart to career exploration, job and occupation exploration, and also a really good starting point for some course exploration. It can be a particularly handy tool if you don't have a lot of time with students and you want to get them started on some, prerequisite exploration for subject choices coming up, or, teaching about goal setting, and a good general tool for self-reflection and learning to articulate your strengths and skills and talk about yourself in a positive light. So, and I'm sure that you will all find some very creative ways to put it into use, and we'd love to hear about those as well. So please, if you are using it in any ways other than that, let us know. We'd love to hear about it. We have a number of resources to help you implement it in your setting. So you can get these through the resources section, and I should have shown this before when I was demonstrating, but we have a parent presentation and a colleague presentation that you can download if you would like to show either your colleagues or parent population what Copilot is about. There is a lesson plan that introduces Career Copilot to students and takes them through adding a SMART goal or several SMART goals to their action plan. You can find out more about Copilot or view the frequently asked questions by clicking on the Help Centre on your dashboard. And being released next week for National Careers Week, we will also have using Career Copilot to prepare for job interview lesson as well coming out. We're working on that one now, and it's going to be fun. So we are almost at the end of our half an hour time slot, but before you begin logging off, I am going to pass over to Laura, who has a very exciting announcement in time for National Careers Week.
Amazing. This is super exciting. We are running a competition. You have until the end of May to get as many students to complete Copilot as possible. We do have a small school prize and a large school prize, and the two winning schools will each win a tech experience workshop for your students and a class set of Frank Green drink bottles. So no real rules, just jump on and give it a go. Of course, our notion is that we want every student to have a career plan. So this is the purpose behind that. And yeah, so as many students in Australia as possible.
And I don't think our lovely photos of the tech experience loaded on that one, unfortunately, but you can imagine it. Yeah, it'll be a really immersive, fun experience, either in person or online. So get your kids started on career plans and be in the winning. Laura, are there any more questions in the chat before we finish up?
So we have recorded this, so this will be sent out to everyone if you did miss the first part. If you do have feedback, please send that through to hereforyou@careertools.com.au. Anything that you've already written in the chat today, that's all noted, and we will take that back to the product team as well.
Good luck, and yeah, get in touch. Any feedback, any questions, really welcome at hereforyou@careertools.com.au. All right, all the best for term 2. Thanks, everyone. Bye.